There is an emergency on planet Earth. Today, I'm speaking with Joost Brinkman, the driving force behind the glorious glacier ride. Joost, before we talk about the ride itself, could you first introduce yourself and tell us what the glorious glacier ride is?
Yeah, sure. And thanks for having me today, Stefano. I'm Joost Brinkman, and I'm based in Utrecht, the Netherlands, where I've been working on sustainability for the last 15 years. And since 6 years, I rolled into Cycling for Climate, which basically is a not-for-profit foundation with which we organize cycling events to raise awareness on climate change. And not only raise awareness, but more important, to ignite action. Yeah, and one of the spin-offs is the Glorious Glacier Ride, and it's a 1,600 kilometers long cycling journey from Munich all the way down through the Alps to Monaco, where we pass all the great passes, the great cols, the Galibier, the Iseran, the Stelvio, etc. But more important, we cycle along the biggest glaciers in Europe and the biggest glaciers of the Alps. And to see really what is the impact of climate change in real life, because it's going astonishing fast. In the last 25 years, the glaciers in the Alps have lost almost 40% of their volume. And you can imagine if this continues this way, then we can stop thinking about skiing, one of our favorite hobbies. As a short introduction.
Yeah, well, it's a very valuable introduction. As I said, this is there are many emergencies on Earth today, and it's very important to address this one too. And Joost, you're a man of words and action. Uh, how are you raising awareness with this ride, and why did you specifically choose this format among all the things you're already doing or have done?
Yeah, well, there are two questions here. One is, how do we raise awareness? And of course, we try to raise awareness to get into the media and to be featured on television and radio. And we do it by spreading the word, because next to the fact that we have to do these climbs and distance and the physical challenge, we also have a sort of a mental challenge, because each of us has the goal to sink as much CO2 as their age is. So basically, it comes down to crowdfunding, but then we call it the carbon crowd sinking campaign. So we have to seduce others to remove a bit of CO2 out of the atmosphere and put it back into the ground. And that's also a thing which we do by doing that we spread the word, and we raise awareness on the fact that we just have to start cleaning up our mess, because climate change is not an issue which is born today, but it's a accumulation of the CO2 that we have emitted over the years. And just as with plastics, we don't like to see plastic in nature, and we clean that up. And the same is here, but the issue is CO2 is not visible, not smellable. You don't see it. So, but it is there, and we use our atmosphere as a sewer, and we have to start, basically cleaning up our waste. And this is a first step to do that.
Yeah, totally understand. And action is now, because at this moment, watching this video, there is a very extensive heat wave in the southern part of Europe. I think it's almost reaching the northern of Europe. So this is also affecting the glaciers. And we can't ignore the fact that the climate change is happening. Sometimes it's being ignored. There are other challenges we have to face, but I think you doing this right now with these extreme temperatures, record-breaking temperatures, which are also affecting glaciers, of course, is a clear example that there is a need for change. Talking about change, Joost, what do you hope this ride will change for the people you reach, for policy, or for, in general, the planet? What's the small step you hope that comes out of your action?
Well, there are sort of two things that we focus on, or three. The first one is to do it and to actually finish all safe, no injuries in Monaco, but that's a side thing. No, there are two elements. One is putting carbon removal, and the fact that we need to start cleaning up our historic emissions and our emissions today. We have to start that, next to the fact that we have to aggressively reduce our emissions. So fly less, take more the bike, switch to a planetary, healthy diet, so eating plant-based instead of animal-based. And so by nudging our supporters in taking the lead there, that's one step. And a second step, what we want to achieve is we visit a lot of mayors along the way. So in München, but also in Zermatt and in Chamonix and at the end in Monaco. And we want to help them or convince them that we have to stop advertising on fossil fuels. So we want to seduce them a little bit, just like the city of Utrecht, where I'm departing from, to stop advertisements which are fossil fuel related.
Yeah, that's very clear. And I can imagine in what you do, there's a lot of repetition in your message because it's, sometimes people hear it but don't really understand it. Or so I'm gonna ask you again about the Glorious Glacier Rides. Just for people watching now, so during your trip from Germany to France, as I understand, so could you please, in a short note, say what will you be doing, where will you be departing, where will you be stopping, where's your finish line, and what will you be doing along the way, and how will you present it at the end when you reach Monaco?
Okay, thanks. Well, first of all, we start in Munich on the 28th of August, so in roughly 2 weeks from when we speak now. And there we have someone of the city council who is shooting us off, giving the starting ceremony. And we hope there that we have sort of 50 or 60 people who are joining the first part of the ride. And then we cycle to Austria, to Erwald. From there, we have the mayor of Erwald welcoming us that first day. And then the second day, we cycle to St. Valentin auf der Heide in Italy, that is, although it's German speaking. And then on the third day, we cross the Stelvio, which is, one of the iconic passes, of course. But at that day, it's a Stelvio bike day. So there will be 15,000 people cycling the Stelvio. So we hope to get a lot of spreading our word there as well among the other participants. Then during the weekend, we cycled to Switzerland, where we have meetings with also several mayors. And at each finish line, of course, we will have a sort of a finish ceremony. And then after a week, one of the things we're going to do in Zermatt, because Zermatt is a really iconic place, but it's also heavily affected by climate change. Just on the other side of the valley of Zermatt, there's Blatten, or there was Blatten, the city which was of the village which was destroyed in May by the collapse of one of the glaciers there. In Zermatt, we're going to play Climate Fresk. And Climate Fresk is sort of a climate workshop where together with others, you start to see the origin and the consequences and how it all relates together of climate change. And we hope to involve their citizens and tourists, which are in the city, just to ask them to lay this climate puzzle, as I can call it. And then after the weekend, we move to France. So we visit several glaciers, also in the Swiss side, but also on the French side. There in Chamonix will be, and then there are 5 stages in France, which actually are, from a cycling perspective, the most challenging ones. They're roughly 120 kilometers, but all have 3,000 meters of elevation every day. And the last day we finish in Monaco, and the last day is pretty harsh as well, except for the last 60 kilometers, because then we really roll down from the Alps into the city. And there, we are welcomed by someone of the city, and we take one last lap on the Formula One circuit, because Monaco, of course, is known for Formula One racing and the big yacht show, which is the week after. So it's in slight contrast with what we're fighting for.
Okay, wow, sounds quite physically also quite a challenge to do so. And you told me also there will be like a documentary made. So once you reach Monaco, once you have finished this ride, and there's still action to be taken. So what comes next? What follows after this?
Yeah, what follows next? Well, first of all, I have a friend who's living in Toulouse for almost 25 years. And 3 years ago, I went there for his birthday to cycle with him up to the Tourmalet. But having this in my mind, I think the glorious glacier ride Pyrenees will be hosted for the first time in 2026. And indeed, the documentary is coming out. So I hope it also creates a lot of noise and understanding on climate change and puts people into motion. And then for the Glorious Glacier Ride next year in the Alps, there are already 2 organizations who are willing to organize it next year. So this year it's first a pilot, which is not that organized, but it is taking place. And the next year's it's an event which is available for many of us.
That sounds very interesting. Hey, about this documentary, have you already got an idea about where you'll be showing it, publishing it? Who will you connect the documentary?
No. And the whole documentary thing was not part of my plan. My initial plan was to cycle for 2 weeks along the Alps. But then I thought, if I cycle 2 weeks, that's a lot of time. I better raise some awareness. So then the whole Glorious Glacier idea came out. And once I posted that on LinkedIn, I got a message from an American documentary maker. And he said, well, this is such a cool story. I want to come over. And I said, that's fine with me, but I don't have any budget. But he said, well, no, that's up to me. I'm going to take care of that. And when and how it's going to be broadcasted, I don't know. But I will claim the name Cycling to Come already.
Yeah, true. And you're talking about budget, but of course, when we're working on these kinds of ambitions, it should be done without any budget. We all need to support each other. And talking about supporting this and people tapping in to this short interview, hearing about the documentary, you want to share it, or people that want to tap in on what you're doing. And just to wrap up this interview, how can they follow you? How can they connect with you? How can they participate in this?
Yeah. Participation is great. We have a website. It's named gloriousglacier.eu. It's in 5 languages, so I think there should be a language for everyone. And there you can support the riders. You can sync your carbon footprint or part of it, and you can already register for an event next year. And on the website, it also shows the dates where we will be, etc. And everybody is free to tap in for 1 or 2 etaps. And that's the more people, the more action, the more impact we'll have.
Clear message, clear and strong message, Joost. Thank you for talking with us. And it goes without saying that us from the NBSO and also from the Dutch Embassy in Paris, we really support this mission. So we will do our best to share the documentary, share what you are doing. And well, we wish you all the best. We are following you. And in France, we say bon chance. And hope to see you arriving here in France soon.
Good luck. Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Stefano.